It's the 29th of November, and I used to be an expert lucid dreamer. A lucid dream is a dream where you know that you're dreaming, and you can say to yourself, "Is this a dream?" And then you reach the conclusion, "Yeah, it is a dream," and the dream continues, and you exist in that reality, really critical of that. Hey, this is me. This is my dream. I'm in sleep, at home in bed. The day is this day, and none of this is real. And I can do whatever I want. I can fly. I can fight. I can not be worried about dying. I can talk to dream figures and know they're part of me and question them on funny things like what number I'm thinking of, what funny animal I'm thinking of, why are you here, what do you represent, and why are you bugging me? Like it's really cool because you can see on my hand I got a C. That's a scar. I burned it there because I had trouble one year in 93. I think I got depressed and I couldn't have lucid dreams no more. Before I could have up to five lucid dreams one night, but usually like three or four lucid dreams per week. And I used to like write on my hand with a black marker a C, and then use that to question reality. But sometimes the C would be worn off, and that would confuse me. And then I needed that part of something permanent, my residual self-image. So yeah, lucid dreams don't scare me. Flipping dream figures don't scare me. Then I also went through a stage of being hagged. In Newfoundland folk culture, it's called the old hag. It comes to you at night. You feel paralyzed. You can't move. It's a figure at the end of your bed. It sits over you. It sits on you. It squishes you. It suppresses your breath. It's absolute terror. But I always embraced that because I knew it was on the verge of sleepiness and wakefulness, and it never ever scared me. I went through a stage of trying to lucid dream. That's where you can supposedly project your consciousness outside your body, but it's bollocks because there's nothing supernatural in our universe. It's just a stage of REM sleep. And there's a book by Oliver Fox called The Practical Techniques of Lucid Dream, Astral Projection, and it took me many months to meditate that way, and eventually I could feel myself peeling back and like sinking through the floor or floating above my body in the room. And I had a few experiences of sleep paralysis, and one time I floated up into my bedroom and I got snapped out of it. I dropped down 6 foot to my body, and I woke up. I was paralyzed for like 30 seconds. Once in the Munn Library under the desk in a single study room, I was lying down meditating for half an hour, and I felt myself floating 10 foot above me. I could see the details of the concrete that was the ceiling that was like 12 foot in front of me. Then I snapped out of it. I dropped back down. I woke up and I couldn't move for a minute. I could move my hands eventually, but when I sat up, I was so scared I banged my head and I ran to the single study room. So after years of sleep paralysis, experimenting and embracing it, not being afraid, because sleep paralysis releases like acetylcholine, which paralyzes your muscle. That's why you don't get up and run around when you're dreaming. But also it stimulates your amygdala, which causes fear. It's your part of your parasympathetic nervous system, like a flight or fight response. And I got used to all that. But then when you get dialed into that feeling, you get a buzzing in your ears. It causes like a sleep paralysis, causes stimulation of the muscles in your anvil and hammer, your inner ear, your vestibular apparatus. And for me, sleep paralysis becomes a real sensation of buzzing, and not buzzing, but like a wind blowing through your consciousness. You're super hyper-conscious. You're in a state of semi-arousal, semi-sleepfulness, and you can feel this wind, and you can hone into it, and it changes. You can make it more intense, or you can ease it off. And if you focus on going towards it, I did that for many years. Eventually, you get to a point where you get a real connection in your heart and your mind. You almost feel too connected. You can feel your heart pounding. But when you focus on it really intensely, your heart can start palpitating and missing a beat. And the last time I had sleep paralysis, my heart stopped. And I woke up and I gasped. And I felt the next pound and my heart kicked in again. And I said to myself, like, I could ignore the physical, emotional response of fear, and I can get past that. But then when I reached the real point of physiological fear, when your heart has a palpitation and the heartbeats become so slow and erratic that you wake up because you're so connected to your body that it actually is real fear, I said I would never dial into it and go towards the sensation of the woozy, spacey, trippy air blowing through your mind. I would never, but it's been about 3 years now, and I haven't had a moment of sleep paralysis, but I know if I have it again, I'm going to embrace it and see what's beyond that. I mean, shit, I could have a cardiac arrest in the middle of the night. It's really cool that you could die in your sleep through a meditative process and connecting all the neurotransmitters and all the hormones in your system and getting a positive feedback loop between fear and those parts of your brain and your heart and messing all that up. It's really cool. And that's why like alien abduction stories and the old hag are very similar, because they all share the same neurobiology. So let's hope to have some sleep paralysis soon. Interesting.